Okay, let's go.
Hey, Amberly, thank you for coming on tonight, girl. I just wanted to ask you a few questions about your experience. You are finishing up your 6-month program at Firefit training. How's it been?
I know. It's hard to believe it's been 6 months already, though. Like, that's crazy to me. When we first did our call, you said it was going to go by pretty fast. And I was like, yeah, right. But it really did go by a lot quicker than I thought it was going to.
Yeah, time flies when you're having fun,
It
right?
really does.
Yeah, so it's been awesome. Definitely gonna miss
Yeah,
you when you're
I
gone.
know.
But yeah, just thought we'd share your experience for the people on YouTube, anybody that may be interested in this program. So
Yeah,
can you, I guess, start out by telling us your name and what you do for work, and we'll go from there.
sure. My name is Amberly, and I am a dental assistant, and I have been dental assistant for about 15 years.
Awesome. Okay. So right along in the line of medical field. So
Yep.
perfect. And tell us where you're at, girl, mentally and physically before you joined Firefit training.
So before I joined Firefit, mentally I was just kind of going through the motions on like autopilot for like most things. And I had been on a weight loss journey for about 2 years prior to this. And I was on like the Wegovy medication and that worked wonderful. And then my insurance changed and I was no longer covered. And it's just not affordable when you don't have insurance coverage. So once that kind of stopped, then I kind of was like feeling sorry for myself mentally and just like, well, if it doesn't matter, then nothing matters and I can just do whatever I want and eat whatever I want and kind of just continue that like negative thought cycle where you're sad, so you eat more, and then because you eat more, you're sad, and it's just, that never ending like spiral you can get into.
Hmm.
Physically, I kind of had limitations a little bit as far as like movement, like what I could do, what I couldn't do. Short distances, I was pretty good. Long distances, I would get like some knee pain and, like back pain and stuff like that. But not really physically active as far as like going to the gym regularly, lifting weights or anything like that.
Okay. Okay. And then at that time, what made you finally decide I need to do something different? This is my chance.
So I was scrolling through Instagram and it was one of those like, the reels kind of like auto-populate. And I came across one of your videos and I was kind of like, oh, well, like this kind of seems interesting. Like, and then I followed you and then you always said that you like follow people back. And I was like, oh yeah, it'll just be like if she follows me, I follow her. And then you had messaged me and I was like, oh no, this is like a real, like legit thing that like she and I are gonna get into together.
Yeah. And
And
then the
I
fun
had never
began.
experienced anything like that before.
Yeah. The fun began, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
Okay. And what were you the most nervous about before starting?
I think I always do better when I'm accountable to somebody else, but being accountable to somebody else as well as myself was like a big thing too. And you always have that like fear of being judged for like your lifestyle choices and like everything that kind of led you to like the point where you started from. So
Hmm.
that was like a big kind of thing I had to overcome too.
Yeah. Okay. And what surprised you the most once you actually got inside of the program?
First of all, how like nice and warm of a personality you have. Because sometimes you like see someone on the internet and they seem like they're gonna be nice, but then like once you like meet them, they're like not really nice at all, and then you're like, what is even the point of this? But as far as like just the community that you've created within this program and knowing that like you're not alone in what you're going through and like everyone is at different stages in their journey. So like when I started, there were some people that were just finishing and they were being encouraging, and then there were some people who were like in the middle of everything, and some of us that were at the beginning. So really like the sense of community that you're not alone is a big thing.
Yeah, that community sense. And what did your day to day look like before versus how it looks now?
So day to day wise, not really paying attention to like what I was eating or like how much I was eating, how often I was getting Starbucks. Starbucks is always a bad habit. I love me some Starbucks every now and then, but as you and I have been through this program together, I have definitely whittled down my Starbucks to a once a week treat now instead of an all the time thing, which was a really like a hard thing for me to do. But when you're looking at things like prospectively, like you're trying to see what you're doing, then you can really see when you're like logging all your food. That's what I was trying to say. So when you're logging all your food, you can go back through and you can be like, oh, well, I had Starbucks yesterday and I had Starbucks today and I had it on Sunday. So like trying to break those like bad habits was was a good thing.
Yeah. Everything in moderation. Can
Yes.
still have it. Absolutely.
Yes. There are no good foods or bad foods. They're just foods that are more nutritious than other foods, and food is food. But limiting the like sometimes foods to be sometimes foods.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like I've taught you well or something. I love it. You're using my words. I
I
feel
know.
I
What a
feel
good
like
student.
cool. So what with that being said, I know you've made a lot of habit changes and lifestyle changes in general. So what habits have you built that you never thought you'd stick with by doing this program?
Honestly, making protein a priority in like every meal and really paying attention to reading like food labels and figuring out if a food has 100 calories and it's got 10 grams of protein, then I talked about the thing where it's like you multiply the 10 by 9 to kind of figure out like how much protein, like if it's a high protein food or a low protein food. So making sure that I'm eating high protein foods and it's not just like protein, but there's like a scooch amount of protein and like a big amount of like everything else that's in it. And then paying attention to portion sizes, you get a food scale and you weigh everything and you got to be like, okay, I can have 170 grams of yogurt at one serving. That's one serving of it. And then you weigh that out and then you weigh your strawberries or whatever else you put into it. And then also being physically active on like a routine basis. So like building habits was a really big thing for me for this. Working out, like starting with the like at home stuff and then kind of like going to like the level 2 of the at home stuff. And then eventually being like, you know what? I think I'm gonna get a gym membership. And I know that that was like a big thing for me because I have never been a gym goer at all.
Yeah.
So that was really, it was good for me to see like my progress of being like, okay, well, I can do some things. And then as you get better, you feel a little bit more confident doing other things that are kind of scary, like going to the gym.
Yeah, it's been amazing, honestly, to watch your progression through the program here because I remember us having those conversations about
Yeah,
being super scared to go to the gym. And then slowly, as you started getting used to everything and getting into the swing of it, the confidence started going up. And you're
yeah,
like, I remember the day that you're like, hey, I'm ready to give this a try. Like, I'm ready to do it. That was one of my favorite days for you
yeah,
and just celebrating that win, stepping outside of your comfort zone and continuing to move on to bigger and better things. So
yeah.
super proud of you as always.
Oh,
But
well, thank you.
yeah, let's talk about some progress now. I know you're
All
ready to
right.
see this grand
I
reveal
know.
of
I can't wait to see the before and afters. I'm
your
so
before and
excited about
after.
this.
It's time. So we're gonna reveal it to the world. So check these pictures out.
Oh my gosh.
Look at that.
I know. Wow.
Is this even the same person?
I'm even standing differently and like holding like my posture is different. Wow.
Super proud
That
of
is
you.
amazing. Yeah.
You look awesome. So let's talk about these numbers. So, how much
Yeah.
weight have you lost? How many inches have you lost in your time here?
So in my time here, I've lost about 3.8 pounds as my total like weight loss. And I've lost 1.37 inches on my arm, 3.15 inches on my thighs, and 4.13 inches on my waist.
Awesome. And look at the
And like
difference.
looking at those pictures, like you would never, like you would probably assume that I had lost a massive amount of weight looking at those like before and after photos.
Yeah,
But I can't believe that. It's so funny to me that the first picture was in March and that this was my most recent photo. She's a different person.
I like her. I like the new
Yeah,
Amberly.
she is a very different person.
She's awesome. Mentally, physically, emotionally. She's leveled
Yeah,
up.
definitely.
Yeah. Super proud. So, as far as the amazing transformation we have here, amazing results.
Hmm.
But outside of the scale, what wins have you noticed in your body, energy, and confidence?
Um, so I definitely have like, more muscle tone now. Some like bicep development. My triceps are a little more developed. And my clothes fit me a lot better. Energy wise, I don't get as exhausted like doing mundane things like I did previously. And I just overall feel like lighter, like mentally lighter and physically lighter. Like there's, whatever like old Amberly was, she has now like shed her skin like a snake, and now there's this new Amberly who has like, evolved.
Yeah, all of the beautiful things, girl.
Yeah.
Will stop my share. Okay. So now that we've talked about all of that, what's something that you can do now that before you started the program you feel like you couldn't do or has impacted and changed how you do things now?
So being confident in my like physical body, I feel so much more confident now. And for my husband's 40th birthday, I did a sexy boudoir photo shoot, and I have never felt so like pretty and confident and like just empowered as I did during that. And then like looking at the photos afterwards, I was just like, wow, like she is amazing. I am amazing. I can do hard things and come out okay in the end.
Yeah, absolutely. Mental
I'm also,
toughness.
like able to like be at the gym. I try to go to the gym like 3 or 4 times a week now and get my steps in and, things like that. Just like building better habits for future me so that I can kind of keep going, like, like go continuing on what I'm doing now.
Absolutely. Okay, perfect. And now, how has this impacted your life as a wife, as a family member, as a friend, Amberly?
So I am better able to manage my emotions now. A big part of this for me was like getting my kind of like brain to work a little bit better and kind of like not letting the like negative voices be loud anymore. So having like a definitely a better mindset doing all of this. It's not just like I'm not stuck being the way that I was. I can continue to grow and change.
Yeah, yeah,
And then, my husband has said that he's noticed a big change as well in how I'm able to like manage my emotions and like communicate a little bit better. And, he's so proud of me and that feels good, that someone else can recognize that.
yeah, yeah. Amazing girl. I love it. And by the way, everybody, we named the negative voice talk Monica.
Oh, yes, her name was Monica
Yeah.
because Monica was hot take was the worst person on Friends. So you can fight me in the comments, that's fine.
So there we go. So we shut out Monica
Yeah,
of
Monica
your
has
time here.
left the building. She is no longer privy to this information.
She's gone. She does not
Yeah,
play a factor anymore in your life.
nope, no.
Yeah. Well, goodbye. Good riddance, Monica.
I know, right?
I'm glad we finally got rid of her.
Me
Okay.
too.
And as far as the support and the guidance, how did it feel having a coach and community both supporting you through this?
So it's kind of weird at first because you're very like vulnerable and like you're exposing yourself, like what you're eating, physical activity, kind of like things like that. So at first it's weird and you're like, I don't like this. And then you're like, but I have to be truthful because the only person I'm lying to is myself then. Like, and
Mm.
that's not going to serve me any purposes because, like, that's how I used to be.
Yeah.
But then, like I said, realizing that, like, you are not alone on this journey. Like, everyone that's here is so helpful and so supportive. If you have a question, somebody will have an answer. If you are having an issue, you can, go to Shelby. She was my coach. And then I did the one-on-one coaching with you. And that really helped me like turn the tide to be like just a little bit more focused on like fine-tuning the like new skills and habits that I had formed.
Yeah. Okay, good deal. And then we already have talked about the accountability aspect for you. You said that was a huge
Hmm.
thing. So, what role did that accountability play in this journey for you with your success?
Um, it's like I said, realizing the only person that you're trying to fool is yourself. So like, don't bullshit yourself because like that doesn't serve you any purposes. And being accountable to somebody else is always much easier for me than being accountable to myself only. But when you go through this process, you kind of like the rose-colored glasses have to come off, and you have to take a look at like really look at like what you are and where you're going and what you want to be, like what you want your end goal to be with this. Plus, looking at like the weekly photos, like the before and after photos that we just looked at, like seeing the Amberly from 6 months ago compared to the Amberly from now is completely different. And you don't realize when you do those photos, like week to week, you might notice smaller changes, like, you're not like as bloated or, you're a little more like, stuffed in at the waist. But then when you zoom out and you look at the bigger picture, you're like, wow, I did all that work. I put all of that work into it, and this is my result. And I love it. And I feel fabulous.
Good. As you should. Slay.
Yeah, absolutely.
As you should. Okay. As far as mindset goes, how has your mindset changed since starting the program?
So, one of the things that you often talk about is having a growth mindset. So, you want to be able to have your brain think of things as a change. And change is good. Change is scary and it can be hard, and that is okay. But you don't want to be stuck in this mindset of this is all I can do. I've been this way. What is the point of doing something else if nothing else is going to work? And having done a lot of those other programs, Weight Watchers, like the weight loss drug worked great for me. And I wish I could have stayed on that forever. But that's not kind of where I'm at right now. Maybe one day I'll get back to it and then I can combine these skills with that and, be like Superwoman. Who knows?
Yeah.
But like, you know, just realizing that I think I wrote that we do not have to be enslaved to our environment or circumstances. It's like a big thing. So just because you are this way now doesn't mean you have to continue to be that way.
Yeah. I love it. I mean, I can tell you've soaked up every minute of the mindset talk that we've had, and
Yeah.
just between you and I, and also with the group and the group calls and Shelby's
Hmm.
calls and Jess's calls, all of the lovely things we do. And it really does show with how you carry yourself and
Yeah.
what lens you view yourself through as you've come through this journey. It's been amazing to watch
Yeah.
that
Plus,
shift.
like us doing our like little book club, like you and I with our like breaking the habit of being yourself, that book is something that every person should read. When you look at it, you're going to be like, this is a woo-woo book. But
Yeah.
it is kind of a woo-woo book, but it's backed by science. And we talked about I am not one for self-help books because they can be pretty dry. But this was the first like self-help book that I have ever been like, everybody should read this book because it will change your life.
Yeah.
And
One,
I 100% believe that like this is a book everybody should have.
yeah. One page at a time,
Absolutely.
literally. Okay. Speaking of versions of Amberly, what would you say to the version of you who almost did not join the program?
It's it's funny to me now that I was almost that person, but just take a chance. When we were first messaging back and forth, you were like, "Let's set up a call." And I was like, "Oh, I don't want to do that." Because like I don't like talking to people on the phone,
Hmm.
especially people I don't know. Like you. We were strangers at first.
Hmm. Yeah.
And now I can't even believe that I would have had those thoughts. Like knowing now, like going back to back to the future, back to the past, I would be like, girl, put the phone down. Like you need to do this for yourself. Like this is for you and for you only. You will only get better by doing this.
I love it. And piggybacking off of those thoughts, If someone is watching this and they're stuck in the same exact spot you were before, what would you say to her?
Take the leap. I know it's scary to be at the edge of a cliff and you're like, what's going to happen? But just walk off the ledge, you know? You you are worthy of being successful and healthy and being amazing in everything that you want to be. And this program will help you with that. You have to put in the work. It's hard work, you know, it's physically hard work, it's mentally hard work, it's emotionally hard work. You know, I think back to that like breakdown I had about 6 weeks ago when I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing. Everything is panicking and falling apart. And you were like, it's okay. You know, I will help you, but like you have to put in the work for it. So, you know, and I was proud of myself for even like reaching out and being like, I'm struggling because I'm usually one as an oldest daughter, you know, you just shove it down and pretend that everything's okay. And I was really not okay for a while. But Tough Love Lindsay came out, God love her, and she was like, "Girl, you are worth this. We have to do this. I'm not letting you give up. Like, you can either quit or commit." And that's what you said to me. And I was like, "Well, I don't want to quit." And you were like, "Good, I don't want that either."
Yeah,
So just be brave and take the leap.
yeah. If we can't quit, there's only one option left.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, and Amberly, this version of Amberly has come so far to leave those results on the table.
Yeah.
She's not anywhere near quitting.
No, I
She's
am
got the
not the
rest of her
same
life
person I
left.
was when I started this by any means.
Yeah, yeah. And now to the rest, right? Cheers to
Yeah.
the rest.
Yep. Absolutely.
Okay, my last question for you. Why do you think Firefit training works when other things didn't?
So Firefit works because it gives you the tools and teaches you how to use those tools so that you can make lifelong changes. Um, Other programs either make you buy their own food, tell you what you can't eat, but don't really tell you like what you can eat, or they make you use an app for forever to track all your food. Which, yes, you should be tracking your food, but you shouldn't be so obsessed with like foods you can or cannot eat that you kind of get stuck in that like, well, I can't have this and I can't have this and I can't have this. But this program teaches you that all foods are okay. You can have anything you want in moderation. Starbucks once a week, you know?
Yeah,
And then as far as like just being supported, the community really is the best thing about this program because we can talk to each other about our struggles. We talk to each other about our wins for the week, who lost, you know, how much weight people lost, what other like non-scale victories they had. You know, I fit in a pair of jeans I haven't been able to wear in 2 years, and those things are celebrated.
absolutely. Okay. Well, it's been amazing having you in the program. Definitely going to miss you.
I
I
know.
wish I wasn't so good at my job getting you set up for lifelong because then I wouldn't have to say bye, but
I know. We'll be
definitely going to
friends
miss
forever,
you.
don't worry.
I'll always be a part of you in your journey and I'll always
Yeah,
be here, no matter if I'm your coach. I guess I'm always your coach if you look at it that way.
absolutely. Absolutely.
So definitely going to be on the lookout for what you have coming. You've got a bright future ahead. You're ready to spread your wings and fly from the nest
Yeah,
a little bit
I know.
and do some stuff on your own. You've built the habits, you've built the consistency, you have the knowledge, you have all the tools that you need, and you know that you're worthy of those
Yes.
results, as we
Yeah.
have talked about so many times, girl. And it truly shows, like the changes you've made physically, mentally, emotionally, all the things, uh,
Yeah.
all together, holistically. Amazing progress that you've had, commitment to yourself. Super excited to see what you do outside of the program and
I
staying
know. It's
consistent.
gonna be weird to not have these like weekly check-in phone calls anymore.
Yeah, yeah. But well, I'll be always be checking in on you on your progress too.
Absolutely.
So thank you, Amberly, for being here and kind of walking us
Absolutely.
through your journey. And we're gonna look forward to watching you continue to crush it out there, girl.
I know. Look out, world. Here she comes.
And Monica's nowhere in sight.
Nope. Monica's gone forever.
She's gone. I love it. Well, thanks again, girl. Appreciate you doing this.
Absolutely anytime.